Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for being here. This kind of crazy weather day, and sitting at home hoping that it's, the weather's going to be decent enough where people can get out. And then somebody have a friend of mine that lives up in Angie's area, get on Facebook and said, "Oh, it's snowing up here." So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I hope it turns out okay. So I got this idea about climbing the spiritual ladder the other day when I was in an elevator. And I saw this sign and it said, "Climbing the corporate ladder." And I thought, no. No. I think that should say climbing the spiritual ladder. And we all do that. And so our spirituality is something that's very, very personal to us. And we all take on little bits and pieces of different things and put them, like I call it like a decorator crab, If this works, I'm going to put it on and take it with me. So there's been a lot of talk about this month open at the top and possibilities. But what I kind of thought about was, what does it take to be open at the top? And so the one thing it takes, I think in the beginning, is just a willingness. Just the idea that you're going to be open at the top. And just showing up here at the PLC is a first step to that. Because we certainly are out of the mainstream here. And by having different speakers every week, you get a different point of view. Just like a diamond's got many facets, and so you get to experience different facets of spirituality, which Ernest Holmes, it's funny, I was thinking, I wish I could find something by Ernest Holmes that fits in with this. So I go into this little bookcase I've got, and I look, and what jumps out at me? Open at the top, the biography of Ernest Holmes. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that's synchronicity. So I'm going to read this because this is what the author was saying about Ernest Holmes. Holmes himself never stopped learning. He was constantly reading, exchanging ideas, and searching. Anything, this is a quote from him, anything that comes along that is better than I have got, I want to know about it. And that's how Ernest lived his life. So as a result of his philosophy, the philosophy of Science of Mind was open at the top. And as he put it, for new insights and for fresh and invigorating ways to present spiritual information. Sometimes you might want to prevent that, you never know. It might be too much. So a willingness. And then what other types of things do we do? We already do. We meditate. And when we meditate, that's our opportunity in that silence to make the connection with the divine spirit. And I have some information here. I have a book called the Chakra Handbook. And in it, they have a word that they use in there called fulfillment. And at first I was kind of like, what the heck do they mean by fulfillment? Well, fulfillment is that interconnection to the divine. And when we have our energy centers clear, like we did this little energy clearing this morning in meditation, gets the chakras going, and it enables you, if you have a blockage, maybe it'll get rid of that, maybe it needs a little more work, but it gives you the opportunity or the ability to connect with the infinite. So our interconnection to the divine. Now, we just don't have to meditate to do that. We can do, like a lot of us live up here, and go for a walk out in the beautiful nature that we have. You can get a clearing through nature. Or it can just be a natural healing that comes upon us. So, here we are, been meditating. How about if we try to be attentive listeners? and maybe listen to what other people are saying. That's maybe how we pick up those little bits and pieces that we add to our repertoire that we're carrying around with us. So be a good listener. Read and take notes. I like to do that, especially when I'm getting ready for a talk. But then I can carry it, like for me, if I write it down, I'm going to carry it along with me better than if I just try to remember it. Here's another thing to practice while we're climbing that spiritual ladder: non-judgment. Now that's not an easy thing to do, but if we just observe things and look at them the way they are, and not, this is wrong, this is right, this is just something that's happening, that gives us a closer connection to the divine. Open at the top. And how about detachment? If we detach from things. Now, in Deepak Chopra's book, The 7 Spiritual Laws for Success, there is the law of detachment. And I took this little blurb from that chapter, and it says how to put the law of detachment into work. It says, in our willingness to step into the unknown, the field of all possibilities, we surrender ourselves to the creative mind that orchestrates the dance of the universe. So just by removing ourselves and putting ourselves in that quiet space, we can connect with the energy of the universe. And there are so many things around us. You know, and this whole thing about open at the top, you know, if you've got a convertible and you put the top down, what do you experience when you drive? That feel, that freedom, that fresh air around you. What happens when a plant grows? Usually at the very top of that plant, there's a blossom or a flower. Something beautiful happens.
Right.
So what about a football stadium that has a roof? And I think in Washington, Seahawks, I think, they have one of those roofs that open up. So they got the roof closed, but what happens when that roof opens up? Everything just comes out of there. So being open at the top, yes, I'm all for that. And our interconnection through meditation and natural healing, this is the very, this is like on the difficult way, because you have to have these goals, but there's so many easy ways. Connecting with nature, just following the colors of the rainbow and meditating on those can get your energy centers back in harmony, which will open your crown chakra. So, open at the top. Here we are in this new building. So the question is, not only how can we be open at the top and reach fulfillment, but how can we help this building reach its fulfillment? And for this building to be open at the top. Since it's all God and it's all good, then this building must be part of that. So Rumi says, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river of joy within you, an inner energy flowing as it was meant to be. Inner energy flowing, and we feel that as joy. Whew. So how can we help this building? That's just a question. I don't have an answer for it. How do we help ourselves? Well, we help ourselves by coming here. How do we help ourselves? By being active either in the service or just enjoying it or coming to the classes that are offered. Our spirituality is such a personal thing, and we're all looking, some of us take all different kinds of paths, and sometimes those ideas don't really mesh, but I think when we're open at the top, we can at least acknowledge them and let them be presented, and just know that there is more than one way to get to the top. So although we're not in the mainstream, we are on spiritual paths. I also like to think of ourselves as spiritual hunter-gatherers. Oh, doesn't that make you just want to go outside and get in the rain? Spiritual hunter and gatherers. So we're out there getting ideas, bringing our ideas in, and thank God we have a place like the PLC where many different facets and many different ideas are presented. And we can either accept those ideas or say, well, all right, you got your point of view, but I don't have to agree, but I can agree to disagree. And I think that's the magic of this place, is that we are open. And when we fall into that flow and when we feel that river of joy in us, we know it. We know it deep down inside of us. And with that, I'm going to say, so it is.
So it is.